quickly with the fourth one, inshaAllah ta'ala. الأصل الرابع الاهتمام بعقيدة السلف علما وعملا وتعليما. Right, so the fourth principle that distinguishes the Salafi da'wah from other than it is to be concerned with the Aqeedah of the Salaf. In terms of knowledge, in terms of action, and in terms of teaching it as well. So he says, indeed, that which is sad in our times, that we hear these times, speech that basically shuns Aqeedah. And they try to keep Aqeedah away from the field of concern. So from these groups and these jama'at, you see, they will treat the affairs of Aqeedah as if they are subsidiary issues, small issues, which we don't need to be concerned about. So they will make remarks and they will say, for example, ما الذي يديرنا إن أثبتنا لله يدا أو لم يثبت أو لم نثبت, right? They will say, what harm will it do if we affirm for Allah a hand or we do not affirm for Allah a hand? What harm is this going to? This is the type of speech that these people speak with. But this is very, very dangerous speech. وَهَذِهِ مِنَ الْمَسَائِبِ وَالطَّامَاتِ. These are from the calamities which are said. And ومن المعلوم عند الجميع ما لعقيدة التوحيد من منزلة كبرى في الشرع. We all know the great status that Aqeedah has in the texts. Aqeedah is like the mountains that fix the earth. You know, in the Quran, Allah Azza wa Jal has placed the mountains as pegs. If there weren't any mountains, the earth would sway like this and tremble. And the mountains make it firm, pin it, fix it down. Likewise, this is the Aqeedah for the deen of a Muslim. And likewise, it's like an anchor of a ship. If you don't anchor the ship's going to drift and be pushed and tossed by the ocean. It'll be lost somewhere else. So the Aqeedah is something that anchors you down, and it has tremendous importance in the Sharia. So these people who say, why do you speak about Allah's ulu? Why do you speak about Allah's sifat? Why do you speak about Allah? And then they say there are people dying. This is speech which is built upon jahl, built upon ignorance. No person who has understanding of the deen of Islam and of the Sharia would say such a thing. He says, فَالْخَلْقُ بِأَجْمَعِهِ إِنَّمَا خُلِقَ لِغَايَةٍ عُظْمَى أَلَا وَهِيَ عُبُودِيَّةِ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى. The creation was created to worship Allah, to be in servitude to Allah. كما قال الله تعالى وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Allah Azza wa Jal, He said that I did not create the jinn and men except that they may worship me. And Allah Azza wa Jal did not send the messengers, nor did He reveal the books, except in order to actualize the tawheed and the da'wah to it, to call the people to it. And so we see very clearly, Allah Azza wa Jal, He said, يُنَزِّلُ الْمَلَائِكَةَ بِالرُّوحِ مِنْ أَمْرِهِ عَلَى مَنْ يَشَاءُ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ أَنْ أَنذِرُوا أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنَا فَاتَّقُونَ. He said, Allah reveals the angels with the spirit of His command upon whomever He wills of His servants, that they should warn that there is none worthy of worship except I, so fear me alone. Very clear, Allah revealed the books. He mentions here, Allah revealed the angels with the spirit of His commands. Send down revelation. Why? That people are warned that none has the right to be worshipped except Allah. And likewise, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِنْ قَبْلِكَ مِنْ رَسُولٍ إِلَّا نُوحِي إِلَيْهِ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنَا فَاعْبُدُونَ. We have not sent before you any messenger except that we reveal inspired to him that none has the right to be worshipped except I, so worship me alone. And likewise he mentioned the ayah, وَلَقَدْ بَعَثْنَا فِي كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ رَسُولًا أَنِ اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَاجْتَنِبُوا الطَّاغُوتَ. That we have indeed sent among every nation a messenger with the message, worship Allah alone and avoid the false gods. Likewise the first command in the Quran in Surah Al-Baqarah, يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسُ اعْبُدُوا رَبَّكُمُ الَّذِي خَلَقَكُمْ وَالَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. O mankind, worship your Lord who created you and who created those before you in order that you may have piety. And likewise, the first thing said by every messenger to his people, what did he say? He said, Ya qawmi i'budullah ma lakum min ilahin ghayruh. O my people, worship Allah. You have no other deity besides him. So all of this, and then the Shaykh goes on to explain how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he spent 23 years calling the people, 13 of them in Mecca and 10 of them in Medina, and he's establishing Tawheed, he's waging war against shirk, he's warning against shirk, and he then would teach the ahkam and the laws, but all the time establishing the Aqeedah firmly in the hearts of the people. So this is what we see from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this is what we see in the Quran, what we see in the Sunnah, what we see the Salaf to be upon, and that which we see all the scholars of the Muslims upon the way of the Sahaba, Imam Ahmad, and likewise Ibn Taymiyyah and Shaykh al-Islam Muhammad ibn al-Wahhab, and this is what we see from them. And this is because the Aqeedah, Shaykh goes on to say, that if your Aqeedah is free from impurities, then it will make you to be from the people of paradise. Even if you are someone who falls into major sins. Because those who fall into major sins, Allah will either punish them if He wills, or He may forgive them if He wills, but they will enter into paradise because of the purity of belief. Because of the purity of belief, the purity of Tawheed. And this is from the fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then he goes on to mention certain benefits of the right creed and Tawheed. And from them is that, first of all, it prevents a person from remaining eternally in the hellfire. It saves you from being in the hellfire eternally. Number two, if you complete Tawheed in the heart, then you will not enter hellfire to begin with. It will save you from the hellfire. Thirdly, he says that you will attain complete guidance in this life and complete security in this life and the next, if you actualize Tawheed. Third is that you will be pleased to receive the intercession of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam if you are upon Tawheed, the pure Tawheed, at-Tawheed al-Khalis. And you say, La ilaha illallah khalisan min qalbihi, from your heart. Likewise, from the benefits is that every time Tawheed is stronger and perfected, then you will have more righteous deeds and you will be rewarded more for them, right? The more that there is purity of Tawheed, there will be a greater reward for those deeds. Also from the benefits is that وَمِنْهَا أَن يُحَرِّرْ الْعَبْدِ مِنْ رِقِّ الْمَخْلُوقِينَ وَالتَّعَلُّقِ بِهِمْ وَخَوْفِهِمْ وَرَجَائِهِمْ وَالْأَمَلِ لِأَجْلِهِمْ, that it saves and delivers a person from being enslaved to the creatures. If you're not someone in whose heart there is Tawheed, meaning there is no riya, there's no showing off, there's no seeking the world, there's no seeking status, there's no seeking, right? And you establish and actualize Tawheed, you will be saved from servitude, being enslaved to men, and being attached to them, and fearing them, and hoping in them, and doing deeds to please them and for the sake. هذا هو العز الحقيقي والشرف العالي. Right? This is the true honor. This is the true, the high nobility. Right? High nobility isn't in riches, isn't in status, isn't in seeking the pursuits of the world and acting for the sake of this one and befriending that one because he will give you this thing, and doing deeds to be seen and for showing off and to be heard of and for fame. And you are really a slave to the people whom you are trying to please and whom you are seeking for your needs. But Tawheed, when Tawheed is established in the heart, now you are truly free. You have been saved from servitude to men by having servitude only to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is from the greatest and most loftiest benefits of Tawheed. So he says, what is wajib upon the people is to be concerned, upon us is to be concerned with this issue of Tawheed, And it is something, the Sheikh says, it is very hurtful to see people come along and start saying, why are you focusing upon this Tawheed? Do we not be concerned with the affairs of the Muslims? The Muslims are being slaughtered left and right, and we are calling to destroy the domes and the tombs, and all of this is from Jahl. These people, وَقَائِلُ هَذَا الْقَوْلِ نَسِيَ أَوْ تَنَاسَى قَوْلَ إِمَامِ الْحُنَفَاءِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ alayhi salam. These people who speak with this type of speech, and they say that the Muslims are being slaughtered left, right and center, and all you people want to do is to speak about Tawheed and Shirk and destroying graves and leveling graves and this and that, whatever. This is from the greatest of Jahl. Because the reason why that is happening is because of the absence of this, right? So the Shaykh mentions, he says, look at these people are either ignorant or they are pretending to be ignorant. They either forget or they are pretending to forget the speech of Ibrahim alayhi salam. What did he say? He made dua to Allah. What did he say? He said, وَجْنُبْنِي وَبَنَيَّ أَن نَعْبُدَ الْأَصْنَامِ. Protect me and my offspring from that we should worship idols. Worshipping idols. So he says, فَإِذَا كَانَ الْخَلِيلُ إِمَامُ الْحُنَفَاءِ الَّذِي جَعَلَهُ اللَّهُ أُمَّةً وَحْدَهُ وَقَالَ عَنْهُ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ وَإِبْرَاهِيمَ الَّذِي وَفَّى. Right? So this is Ibrahim alayhi salam. Who is Ibrahim alayhi salam? He is the one whom Allah made the Imam of the Hunafa. He is the one who made him an ummah on his own, by himself. He said about him, وَإِبْرَاهِيمَ الَّذِي وَفَّى. Ibrahim, the one who fulfilled fully his covenant and the command. And he commanded وَأَمَرَ نَبِيَّهُ مُحَمَّدًا صلى الله عليه وسلم أن يتبعه في حنيفيته. Right? He ordered our Prophet Muhammad to follow him in this Hanifiyya. And he is also the one that Allah tested by asking him to sacrifice his son, فَامْتَثَلْ, and he did so. Well, that he went on to do so until Allah knew from him that he was prepared to do that, and then he changed the son to what he did. And then he says, likewise, he fulfilled the command of Allah when he smashed the idols with his hand, and the people showed severe rejection against him. Alongside all of these virtues and excellences, he feared for himself that he might fall into shirk, not just any shirk, it's not like I might fall into riya or this or man. He feared the worship of idols, right? So this Imam and this Ummah and the Khalil and the Imam of the Hunafa was not from the Mushrikeen. After doing all of these things and smashing idols with his hands and taking that position and so on and so forth, he still feared that he might fall into shirk, which is ibadatul asnam, وَهُوَ أَعْظَمُ الشِّرْكِ فَمَا بَالُكَ بِمَا دُونَ. Right? So what do you think about what is less than that? And this is why Ibrahim at-Taymi, rahimullah, he said, وَمَنْ يَأْمَنْ الشِّرْكِ بَعْدَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ alayhi salam. Who can feel secure from shirk after Ibrahim alayhi salam? And likewise, Shaykh Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab, rahimullah, he said in the hadith of Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. Now the hadith itself, Shaykh al-Bani declares it to be da'if, but we are interested in the point to be taken. So the hadith is, قال موسى يا رب علمني شيئا أذكرك وأدعوك به. Musa alayhi salam said to his Lord, teach me something by which I can remember you and I can call upon you with. قال يا موسى قل لا إله إلا الله. He said, O Musa, say لا إله إلا الله. Now commenting upon this hadith, even though the hadith is not Shaykh al-Bani declared to be da'if, but Shaykh al-Islam Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab, he said في كتاب التوحيد على هذا الحديث فيه أن الأنبياء يحتاجون للتنبيه على فضل لا إله إلا الله. Within this hadith is the benefit that sometimes the prophets need to be reminded or need to be notified about the excellence and the virtue of La ilaha illallah. So the Shaykh finishes by saying, and we conclude with this, فَيَجِبُ عَلَيْنَا أَن نَحْتَمَ بِهَذَا الْأَمْرِ وَأَن نُوَلِّيهِ اهْتِمَامًا كَبِيرًا. So it is obligatory upon us that we give great attention to this affair. because فَإِذَا سَلِمَ هَذَا الْأَمْرُ فَمَا بَعْدَهُ أَخَفُ وَأَسْهَلُ. So if we are protected and safe in the affair of Tawheed and Aqeedah, then everything else becomes easy and safe as well. أما إذا كان هذا الأصل فاسدا فلا انتفاع ولا صلاح ولا قبول. But as for when this foundation is corrupt, then everything else will be pointless. There will be no rectification, there will be no benefit, there will be no acceptance of our deeds if this foundation of Tawheed is not established. So inshallah we'll finish with that one. This is the fourth foundation or fourth principle. It is calling to Allah Azza wa Jal. It is the concern with Aqeedah, showing this great concern with the affair of Aqeedah in ilm and amal and ta'aleem. And so this is what distinguishes the people of Tawheed, that when they see trials and calamities and afflictions descending upon the ummah, then they understand and recognize the root causes. And from the root causes are that these deviations, these innovations, these shirkiyat have crept into the hearts of the Muslims. Why? Because of knowledge receding and people of the Sunnah not making da'wah to Allah and making this knowledge reach the hearts and the minds of the people and keeping it in the hearts and the minds of the people. And so as these things happen, there's shirk and bid'ah, then the calamities befall the ummah, right? Allah's protection is removed and calamities befall. There's weakness, and the people of disbelief use that weakness to then make, to do what they do. So all this traces back to the asl, the foundation, which is Tawheed, Aqeedah, Sunnah, and this is the way of Ahlul Sunnah of treating the root causes, whereas other people, they focus on the cosmetics, right? The ship is sinking, and so people like the other groups in Jama'at, they like putting pictures and painting the ship and trying to make it look nice as it's sinking like this, and they are thinking this is rectification. Whereas the people of Sunnah, what do they do? They go to the hole and they patch the hole, they fix the hole so the water can't come in, right? And that's the difference between the way and the method of the people of Tawheed and Sunnah and the Jama'at of Hizbiyah, who are there just looking at subsidiaries and cosmetics and making things look nice and making things look beautiful, as the whole thing is slowly sinking bit by bit by bit by bit. They are busy thinking, paint this yellow, paint this green, make it look nice, this whatever, and it's just going to sink. That's the effect. Whereas the people of Tawheed and Sunnah, they go to the root cause and they address the root cause. And so that's what distinguishes the Salafi da'wah from all other da'wat. And these usul, these foundations that the Shaykh is mentioning, is what characterizes that particular cause. So we'll finish with that for today. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Inshallah, we might finish the rest perhaps in the lesson in Bradford next a week from today, inshallah ta'ala.